Thank you, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to recognize a fellow member of Congress from Michigan and a fellow member of the Ways and Means Committee, one of the ranking members, Dave Camp, for 5 minutes.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the distinguished gentleman for yielding, and I want to thank him also for his distinguished service in the United States Congress, the United States Air Force, 7 of those as a prisoner of war. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in opposition to this non-binding resolution, and I share with my colleagues, our servicemen and women and their families, the wish that this war was over and won. It is not. And the resolution before us today does nothing to resolve this conflict, does nothing to reduce the loss of American life, does nothing to stabilize Iraq, and does nothing to advance our security. I'd like to use my time today to relate some of the comments that I've received from my constituents in the 4th District of Michigan. From Big Rapids, the congressmen and women who are opposed to these plans should come up with better solutions. Don't penalize our military men and women by making politics a part of their safety and well-being. From my hometown of Midland, please stop playing politics with our lives and the lives of young people who are defending our country. From Alma, I'm sick of the partisan politics. We went into Iraq united, but we have let politics divide us. It is time to realize some things are bigger than the political parties. Friends, we may often disagree, but the facts are, regardless of how it began, and irrespective of the benefit of hindsight, we are at war, and Iraq is the central battleground. Islamic extremists are waging a jihad against us, and they are struggling to make Iraq a base camp. Our focus must be on winning, and disturbingly, I see no mention of winning, succeeding, or victory in this resolution. That in itself is telling of just how the other side perceives this conflict, not in terms of defeating an enemy of America, but in terms of defeating a political foe. Our troops deserve better. The American people demand more from their leaders. Again, in the words of one of my constituents from Bannister, I hope Congress is tough enough to do what works, not just what is politically correct. We need to move carefully and deliberately, showing a united front, or we are again going to be the victims of some outrageous terrorist attack. Sadly, the new majority does not seem to understand what so many Americans readily grasp. If you support the troops, you must support the mission, or you send the wrong message to the enemy, as it was so aptly put by a constituent from Ashley. From Farwell, Congress needs to get behind the President and help, not hurt the morale of the soldiers that are fighting. They believe in their mission. And I believe in them, which is why I cannot and will not support this resolution. As I conclude my remarks, I want to leave you with 2 comments. The first is from Traverse City. We should all pull together and get the job done. And the second from an airman from Corunna. Thank you for the much-needed support of me and my fellow airmen. I hope that once we dispose of this non-binding resolution, our focus turns to supporting our servicemen and women, making America more secure, and achieving the victory our military personnel are putting their lives on the line for. I yield back the balance of my time.